and welcome to Marinsky March 2023, where every day in March we make a sausage recipe out of one of Adam and Stanley Marinsky's books. Last year we did home production of quality meats and sausage, which I think is one of the best sausage books out there still. It gives you the how and why behind what you're doing in sausage making. But this year we're doing recipes out of the new book, 1001 Greatest Sausage Recipes, which is a gift to us sausage makers and meat enthusiasts. Adam and Stan have traveled across Europe and North America for the last 20 years compiling recipes, and they put it all into this jumbo book. What's even better is Stanley has sent me 5 copies to give away to you guys over the course of the month, and all you got to do to get qualified is leave a comment in the videos, and I'll find you and I'll send you a copy if you're one of the lucky winners. So, without any further ado, let's get into 1001 Greatest Sausage Recipes by Adam and Stanley Marinsky. Hello and welcome to another episode of Marinsky March, where in this episode I'm making, well, I'm not really sure exactly. It's kind of like a fruitcake, but it's also a blood sausage, but it's also a dried sausage. It's a crazy sausage. I am not sure what to make of it. It is called the Morcilla Gallega from La Corona. It's a Spanish blood sausage. Morcilla Gallega from La Corona is a Galician sweet blood sausage made with blood, sugar, onions, and pine nuts. La Coruna is a city in the municipality of Galicia, Spain. Sweet blood sausage, Morcilla Dulce, is popular in many regions of Spain. However, Galician sausage is probably the sweetest, as it contains not only sugar, but also sweet fruits such as apples, figs, raisins. There we go. It has a boatload of sugar in it. So for context, I guess I usually put sugar in at like 1% max. Usually, if you're doing like, I've seen it up to 20 grams per kilogram, 2%. This one here, if you buy the book, it's on page 534. I'll share the amount of sugar in it. It's 15%, 150 grams of sugar per kilogram of blood sausage, along with some other sweets. So it's going to be a very, very sweet sausage. And then what's crazy is we're going to cook it and then we're going to dry it for 2 weeks, which isn't allowed in North America. This guy gets the X on the food safety steps. It's just a traditional sausage from Spain. I'm sure the people over in Spain eat this all the time and don't die, but you could not cook and serve this in my meat shop because I'm not allowed to, because it breaks the rules. Why? Because we're going to make the sausage. It doesn't have cure number 2, and there's no real step to lower the pH. So you're kind of drying a sausage in the danger zone. We're going to dry it at 12 degrees Celsius for 2 weeks. So it's going to sit in the danger zone with no cure and no pH drop for 2 weeks. So I don't know what to make about that. A thought that comes to mind right off the bat is all this extra sugar, and this is a regular amount of salt in here. There's like other things like bread, but that sugar might tie up available water. And I can't remember what the pH of pig blood is off the top of my head, but there's not a tremendous amount of blood. But anyways, sugar might bind to the water and tie up the available water. Available water is like what dehydrates things. So if you can get a little water meter, you could test it and see. But I'm sure coming out of the water after we poach, it's going to be quite high on the available water scale. But anyways, that's kind of the concern I have when making this. I'm sure it's going to be really yummy, and I'm kind of excited to make it because it's way out of my regular wheelhouse. So I have all the ingredients here ready to go. Basically a half a loaf of bread, white bread. No crusts allowed in this sausage because the Spanish people don't like crusts in their blood sausage, I guess. We got some pine nuts. We got some dried fruits in there. So no, it's supposed to have figs and raisins, but I kind of cheated And I just bought the fruit that you use for making fruit cakes at Christmas time out of it because it's shortly after Christmas and it was on sale. So it's probably not perfectly authentic, but give me a break there. Put our fruits and salt and lots of sugar in there. We're going to put straight lard. There's actually no meat in this recipe. Just lard and blood. Some onions, which you're supposed to run through your grinder on a 3mm plate, but I just diced them up really, really small. Some pine nuts. Pine nuts are awesome. I'm excited for those. Okay, then our bread. Break the bread into small chunks. Can do. I just imagine some enabled 6-year-old Spanish child helping his mom make this sausage, and he's complaining that there's crusts on it, and instead of his mom dealing with them, she just cuts the crusts off. That's why there's no crusts in this sausage. That's what the recipe says. Okay, the bread's in 1/2-inch cubes. In my mind, I'm like, this is barely a sausage. It's kind of like a cake. Mix the lard up with our bread and fruit and sugar and a little bit of salt. This does not look like a sausage to me. Welcome to Baking with Duncan. And here's our fruitcake batter. Next we'll put it in the oven at 350 for 1 hour. The gritty sugar off my hands. All right, now I'll weigh out our blood, which is gonna make this sausage really weird. 300 grams of blood. A lot of lard in this one too, 150 grams of lard. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna tie this into 2 loops. One I'm gonna eat right after poaching because a part of me is concerned that the dried one is not going to turn out because I'm gonna put it in my drying cabinet because it needs 75 to 85% humidity for 2 weeks. And I have some other fermented sausages in there on the go right now. And I'm afraid that maybe it's gonna grow mold or I don't know. We'll see. Still quite crystally from all the sugar. The close-up before looked a little prettier. This one's not too runny though, so it's gonna be pretty easy to stuff. Clamp it down, load up our sausage casings. I don't always tie it off, but if you've seen the other blood episodes from this month, I tie off blood sausages because sometimes they'll run right out the end. This one probably wouldn't, but 2 speeds, Dunk, 2 speeds. On to the smaller nozzle. Here we go. Got a bit of an air pocket that's causing me an issue. Let it off the end of the horn. There we go. Okay, now I'm going to twist it here. I don't usually link it as it comes off, but I want to have 2 so I can test 1 in case it goes badly. Just going to take a string and tie them off. Get this knife away from the casings. This way I just get some assurance that I get to actually taste it, so in case I get scared at the end and I cop out. Okay, there they are. Our Morcilla Gallega is stuffed and tied, so next step is to poach this bad boy. All right, introducing new to the lineup this year, Roy the Red is what we call this thermometer. Roy Davis sent me this thermometer. One of you guys off YouTube, well, not one of you guys off YouTube, Roy Davis, who's seen us on YouTube, tracked me down and sent me this Thermapen. It's a wicked little thermometer. He doesn't work for Thermapen or anything like that. He said he really likes them, and he sent me one because he's a good guy. So thanks, Roy. I told you I'd give you a shout out. There it is. Check it out. They're supposed to be 175, which is 80 degrees Celsius. We're a little on the hot side, 188. Look how quick that Thermapen reads, which is okay. You don't want it boiling, otherwise you could pop and burst them, but I'll just turn it down a little bit. It's gonna lose a little heat. All right, they're gonna lose a little heat as you drop them in, so that's fine if it's a little bit over. Okay, here we are with the Morcilla Gallega. One for tasting right as soon as it's done, and the other one we're gonna dry out. The book gives us times to cook all of these, but I'm gonna go by temperature. I'm gonna probe one of the Morcilla Gallegas in about 35 minutes is what I'm gonna actually 45 minutes. I'm gonna leave them in there for 45 minutes and probe one, And if it's at 160, I'm happy. All right, we've been boiling for our set amount of time. Some of these look like they, we have a blow up. Well, got a little too warm during the cooking, that means. They're definitely done if we had a blow up. Okay, carefully removing the blood sausages so they don't break. Who salvaged half of this one. This is the one that looks like it blew up. This was the fruit one from Spain. And I'm just gonna grab Red Roy real quick and probe that one that busted. I'm sure we're good. Oh yeah, it's like 185. Got a little too hot. I took the lid off because it was getting too warm, but it obviously got a little too warm for that long. So you have to pay close attention when you're doing blood sausages. Okay, here we are this morning, the day after cooking, with the most disastrous of the cooking results. The Morcilla Gallega, the Spanish one with fruits and things. Anyways, we're still gonna try it. It's actually worked out fine. I got this one here to hang for the 2 weeks, which I don't know how is safe. And I got this one that blew up that I wanted to taste test anyway. So I'm just gonna peel the casing off. Now that it's cooled down, it's holding together very well. All right, let's cut into this blood sausage. A little crumbly. I feel like I got a little hot. Lard maybe got a little too runny. It's kind of like soft from the lard in there yet, but there you go. You can kind of see the little chunks of fruit in there and all the blood on my fingers. Let's see how it tastes. Okay, this should be quite sweet. It's almost like a dessert. That tastes like fruitcake. And it's got the same texture as fruitcake, with like a hint of iron at the end. Like the the blood taste, if you've ever had blood sausage, it's like a little bit irony. Not as strong as liver. I don't know about that one. I don't really like sweet and meat together. It's creeping me out. Anyways, like it's quite sweet, and it's got like the little crunchy bits from the pine nuts. Like it's exactly like fruitcake, and that's not what I expect. I like fruitcake, but I don't like fruitcake in a sausage. It's weird. Yeah, I don't know about that for me. If you like sweet though, it could be for you. And then, yeah, it's got the spongy texture from the bread. But I'm gonna take this one upstairs. It doesn't say to hang for weight loss, it just hang for a couple weeks. So we're gonna pop him in the drying chamber. And I don't know how this guy's safe. I'm gonna repeatedly say it. You probably shouldn't make this one in North America because the health inspectors would kill me if I made this and sold it. So it's technically nothing really killing any. We cooked it, we fully cooked it, I guess, but that's not enough for what we're about to do to it. So in the drying chamber it goes. There it'll hang for 2 weeks. All right, so I have just pulled another one out of the dry curing chamber. This is the one I just tried a second ago in your editing process, but 2 weeks ago for me in real life. It's the Morcilla Gallega. I recall this one being not that good. It does say in the book to fry it gently with some apples, but I don't have any apples. I'm not gonna fry it. So we're just gonna try it cold, see how it is, see if that curing time has improved the flavor. The other one was exploded right out of water. After a slight struggle, I have it peeled. Okay, how's it smell? I don't know, like nothing I can really compare to, I guess. Geez, I don't even know how to describe that to you. Blood, fruit, nuts, fat. Kind of smells like a piece of furniture. All right, I hope I don't get sick from this one. Hanging at that temperature, there's no cures and preservatives. I don't know what the pH is. There's quite a bit of sugar in it though. I hope the sugar ties up all the available water because adding salt and sugar will tie up available water in a sausage, and once you have your available water down below 0.7, I hope I haven't said this already in the video. I can't remember, it was 2 weeks ago. Forgive me if I have. Once your available water is down below 0.7, like in things like jerky and some salamis, it is shelf stable. But in order to get it to that temperature, it sat at 10 to 12 degrees Celsius for 2 weeks. To get it to that available water, it sat at 10 to 12 degrees Celsius for 2 weeks. So had lots of time to grow bacteria. Anyways, disclaimer, I wouldn't recommend making this one at home because it doesn't follow the North American food safety guidelines. Phew, now you can't sue me. It tastes better, I think. I don't know if the last one I tried, was it hot? Must have been warm coming out of there still. It's okay. As far as blood sausages go though, the dried fruits and stuff in there aren't for me. I know it's supposed to be figs, maybe figs would have changed it, but I do like the pine nuts in there. I would do a blood sausage with pine nuts instead of pearl barley. Pearl barley is my go-to, but I do one more just in case. It's sweet. It's kind of like fruitcake, Christmas time fruitcake. It's like that, but with a bit of iron. It doesn't smell spoiled. It doesn't look spoiled. There's no crazy bacteria growing on the outside, but it's got the little hit of blood sausage taste at the end. They just don't go together. Sweet and meat just don't work for me. They might work for other people, but it's just too sweet. It's really quite sweet, and then you hit the chunks of fruit, which are sweet. And then there's a little crunch of pine nuts in there, which you expect in fruitcake. I don't know. This one, not so much, you know? But you don't know if you don't try, right? So we made it. It was a neat experiment. I'd like to maybe get my hands on a traditional one or see how it's made over in France if I'm lucky enough one day. But overall, if you're going through 1,001 sausage recipes, I'd maybe put some other ones in front of this one. That's my review on the Morcilla Gallega. I'm not sure if it was from France or Spain now all of a sudden. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. We're going to make a video like this every day in March, all March long, from 1001 Greatest Sausage Recipes by Adam and Stanley Marinsky. Thanks for watching. Take care.